There's only one reason Ben Simmons made a surprise return to Philadelphia this week, and that's obviously because he wanted to check out LaSalle's Hoops Madness event. That is why he came back, right? No? Oh, whatever. I like soccer better anyway. Hello, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Tyler Small. We think we should all give Ben Simmons a break here. I mean, if shooting threes are anything like reading a teleprompter, I would never shoot a three-pointer. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. You would think it's 2020 again, the way games are getting canceled because of COVID, but not to worry. We still have plenty of recaps coming up.
And later, it is that time again. Siobhan got a chance to sit down with Jack Clark and Christian Ray from the men's basketball team, and we'll kick off our 8, 10, 12 weeks of basketball coverage.
But first, let's take a look at our SportsLine top 3.
Number 1, a game-winning goal against George Washington helped women's soccer claim the NovaCare Student Athlete of the Week for a second straight week, as Cameron Cox secured the award with her second-half goal following Mary Kate Winkler's performance the previous week. To earn the honor, Cox made it 2 in a row with the team's lone contest of the week. The redshirt junior found herself on the receiving end of a Bella Gonchevsky cross to finish it off into the back of the net in the 57th minute to push the Explorers past the Colonials in A-10 action.
Number 2. LaSalle University's rowing head coach Jeff Garbutt announced the fall schedule for his programs on Tuesday morning, opening this weekend with the Navy Day Regatta on October 16th. The Explorers don't leave the city for competition in the whole of October, competing in the head of the Schuylkill Regatta in the final 2 days of the month. Both of the first 2 competitions take place at the Schuylkill River. LaSalle ends its fall season with a short trip to the Cooper River on November 13th to take part in the Philadelphia Frostbite Regatta.
And number 3, LaSalle University's head men's basketball coach Ashley Howard announced on Tuesday afternoon that both John Cox and Mike Doyle have transitioned into their new roles in the program. Cox, who operated as the director of basketball operations over the course of last season, will now be the director of player development, scouting, and analytics. With this promotion, Doyle replaces Cox in the vacated position of director of basketball operations, having been a graduate manager for the team over the past 2 seasons.
Okay, so we have some really great things happening with men's basketball, some new coaching and operational shifts that should really only, help the team as they prepare for the season, even though it's still a month out. But it's good to see some positive changes being made for them.
Oh yeah, and it's just always great to see those roles come from within, so they already know the formula and the structure of the team and what Coach Ashley Howard and the rest of the staff wants to look like, and just gives them a little bit of empowerment to kind of rise through the ranks. And similar to rising through the ranks, I mean, women's soccer, once again, getting this recognition for the top athlete, Cameron Cox. She had another outstanding performance, but the defense, as we'll talk about in a little bit, was the true standout performance.
And it's great. It's a great morale booster for women's soccer as well. They've been kind of on the downturn lately, but the win against George Washington was obviously huge. Cameron Cox had a great performance. I do have to agree with you that the defense was the standout, but it's definitely great to see them get recognition for their great performances, and hopefully they can keep it up. And that's it for the top 3. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. LaSalle welcomed Davidson to McCarthy Stadium on Saturday afternoon, where a controversial penalty kick gave the visitors the lead in the 7th minute. The Explorers wasted no time in equalizing, with Sam DeCencio and Dominic Bachstein combining to pass the ball off to Amari Cotterell, who easily found the back of the net to bring the score to 1-1. Although LaSalle controlled much of the possession for the next 52 minutes, the Wildcats were able to net 2 more goals, both coming off of free kicks. Not to be deterred by the deficit, Cotterell once again was the goal scorer, this time being assisted by Scott Beeks. It continued as a close game in the final minutes, but Davidson managed to slip another ball past Carlos Mora to steal a 4-2 loss for the Explorers. Despite the loss, LaSalle outshot Davidson 15-10, had a 9-2 advantage on corner kicks, and Junior Nare recorded an astounding 6 shots on goal.
Women's soccer enjoyed its trip to the nation's capital this past week, using an early goal in the second half to power them past George Washington, 1-0. Scoring chances were limited in this one, where one of the few looks for the Explorers came via Cameron Cox, who forced the opposing goaltender to make an impressive save in the 10th minute. Michaela Araguardo started her third shutout of the season with a big save in the 24th minute, which led to a 7-save game. This midfield battle would go scoreless into half, but to start the second half, the Explorers would finally break through. Bella Gonchevsky drove down the right wing and fired a cross into the middle of the box, where Cox was right there for the perfect strike. With the Colonials keeper coming out, Cox was able to fire the ball past the redshirt junior as it slid past her from the back of the defense and into the goal. This would be the decisive blow, giving LaSalle their 4th win of the season and making their A10 record 2-3-1.
Men's golf took part in the Elon Phoenix Invitational this week, where Matthew Werner kicked things off for the Explorers. Werner finished with a score of 70, putting up 7 birdies to sit tied for 41st place. Christian Fortis got the lowest score for LaSalle, starting off with 70 in the first round, finishing with 9 pars and 3 birdies on the final 12 holes, and tying for 58th place. Alex Gakis topped the leaderboard with the score of -3 after 6 holes, ultimately finishing tied for 63rd. The Explorers' pace dropped off a bit on the second day of the Invitational, with Fortis and Gekis both shooting a 73 on the afternoon. Werner shot an 81 on the final day, and Parker Wine and Logan Flores both recording a 77 to give the Explorers a 13th place finish.
The men's and women's swim team had their home opener against Drexel. The day started off with a steady win for the women's side as senior Ann Moser picked up the first win of the day on the 1,000-yard freestyle, clocking in with a time of 10 minutes and 34 seconds. Fellow senior Sarah Rosetto put her name on the board after picking up a win in the 200-yard individual medley with a time of 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Junior Tony Rafferty snagged the top spot in the 200-yard butterfly. LaSalle's team, comprised of junior Bryn Peterson, Rafferty, Mosert, and Rosetto, fell to Drexel in the 400-yard freestyle relay, clocking in at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. For the men's side, senior Zachary Wolbert took the top spot in the 200-yard freestyle with a time of 1 minute and 45 seconds. Junior Sam Henninger picked up his second win of the season in the 1-meter dive with a score of 336. Henninger also took a top spot in the 3-meter dive, finishing in second place behind Steve Sasola, who topped the charts with a dive scoring 288.1. Despite the positive individual performances for both the women's and the men's, the team as a whole just could not tally the top points to take down Drexel. The women's team finished in a defeat 168-130, and the men's side 167-94.
And unfortunately, COVID has reared its ugly head once again, canceling field hockey's home matchup against Lock Haven and men's soccer against Howard. Both teams do not plan on making up these games and hope to get back on track for their upcoming schedule. So I hate to say it, but COVID canceling the men's soccer game against Howard might have been a saving grace for them. It could throw off the rhythm of their season, whatever rhythm that is at this point. It's just disappointing that it's because so many of their players have been moving into quarantine and they're not at full strength. A lot of the players that just got out aren't at 100% because they're trying to, get back into the team and, try and, integrate back in there. So, it's bittersweet for better or for worse. They're not going to make up the game, but it's still disappointing to have COVID cancel a game in 2021.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say the same thing for field hockey. Mm-hmm. Now they, weirdly enough, get that win because they weren't the reason for the cancellation. Yeah. So now they move up to 6 and 7, and now we're going to get into the upcoming matchups in just a little bit. But they have 2 very gettable games to push themselves above 500, both in their overall standings and in the Atlantic 10 play.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and that's it for our recaps. But when we come back, Jack Clark and Christian Ray give us a preview of the upcoming men's basketball season.
What if one day you went to that secret place, that spot that only you know about, and instead of what you came for, you found this? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? The truth is, all drug use comes with risk. Before those risks become real, before drugs turn your life upside down, before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. You can quit. If you or someone you love is struggling with drug use or prescription drug misuse, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral. Or go to samhsa.gov/know the risks.
Welcome back. We might still have to wait a little under a month for the men's basketball season to get started, but Jack Clark and Christian Ray sat down with us to give a little preview of their upcoming season. Take a look. Welcome back to On the Sidelines. I'm Siobhan Nolan, joined by men's basketball's Christian Ray and Jack Clark. So, basketball season is finally upon us. We have Hoops Madness coming tomorrow. So, just how excited are you guys to finally have a somewhat normal basketball season coming up?
I think that as a whole, we're pretty excited just because last year the energy wasn't the same, not only at home, but on the road. It kind of felt more like practice than it really did games. So we're excited to see everybody back in the stands and to hopefully have a full capacity back this season.
And you guys are kind of seasoned professionals, I guess you could say. You've been on the team a while. You're kind of looked up to as leaders in a sense. So what does that position do for you, and how does that influence the rest of the team?
Well, actually, it really helps the young guys on our team because we have a lot of young guys and new transfers coming in this year. Well, that came in this year. So that really helps them knowing that they have like a couple leaders ahead of them, really helping them actually like get through the program and helping them know how Ash likes to run things and how practice works, how games go, travel, and all that. So it's really helping us connect off the court and on the court.
And so you talked about how you have a lot of young guys. Are there any particular players, like standout players, that you think are really going to make an impact this season?
I actually think that this year we're probably about as well-rounded as we ever have been. It's hard to tell usually early on in practices just because, you practice every day, but the games really doesn't start mattering until December, early November, December. So all we can really say, though, is that all the new guys are bought in. They're really easy to deal with. They're really easy to lead, and they listen. They play really hard.
And, you guys have a lot of expectations coming into this upcoming season. Last season maybe wasn't the most ideal for you guys. So what is kind of the goal and the motivation to get the results that you want to get this season?
Honestly, our goal is to be better than we were last year, a lot better. And our end goal is actually winning the Atlantic 10, making it to the tournament, March Madness, and really just getting better, honestly, every day. We have a lot of guys on our team that challenges each other. So just practice is a lot harder than our games are going to be. So just practicing every day and coming to get better, that's going to really help us in the long run.
And there's a lot of excitement happening basketball season, even though we're kind of ways away from that. There's a student section getting started. A lot of people are talking about Hoops Madness, getting excited for that. So what does that fan involvement and fan excitement do for you guys, especially since you didn't have any of that last season?
It's huge. You can definitely feel a difference from when you're playing in an empty gym or one that there's not a lot of people in it, and when it's sold out, things are rocking, students are being loud and stuff like that. So we're really excited to see all the students back, and hopefully we'll get a good crowd for Hoops Madness, get some momentum heading into the season.
You guys both, there's team goals, but for you as individuals, since you are far along in your LaSalle career, you're not freshmen coming in. Are there any, personal individual goals that you guys have set for yourselves for this season?
Personally, well, I don't know when's the last time we actually had like a player on the All Atlantic 10 team. So hopefully that will be a goal of mine for this upcoming season. So yeah, that's kind of like a real main goal of mine, honestly.
Are you the same way with that?
Yeah, I mean that's basically just All Atlantic first team or any team, and then just most improved player is probably what I'm looking forward to for this year.
And you guys have been with Ashley Howard for quite a time now, and you've really gotten able to get used to his style of play and get used to who he is as a coach. So, what influence does he have, and his work ethic and his philosophy do for the team?
He's a fountain for us. He's a very energetic dude who likes to bring the intensity, which a lot of times when you're a player, sometimes you think it's overwhelming, but it really helps us each and every day. Just with the intensity that he brings and the knowledge that he has and the experience from winning national championships at the highest level. So we're able to really feed off of him, and it really helped our performance by just having a coach like that.
Okay. There's a lot of sort of anticipation with the season, and there's a lot of things to be excited about. Are there any like particular games on your schedule that you're kind of most looking forward to?
Honestly, pretty much all of them, honestly. But I know one for me is definitely St. Joe's because last year we didn't really have a good ending with them. So I know for me, St. Joe's is definitely one. But no, honestly, pretty much every game this year is something we're really looking forward to and something we're really marking our calendars.
Christian, is that the same for you for St. Joe's?
Yeah, St. Joe's is always a big one.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be nationally televised this year, so that'll be really exciting. And just to kind of get some motivation going, foster some healthy competition between, Christian and Jack, who's going to score the most points this season, do you think?
He's gonna say him. I'm not. I'm not going back and forth with him. He has this conversation every day, so I'm not. I'm not doing this with him.
You already know it's me. It's not even a conversation.
But is that something that's very prominent within the team as a whole? Like you guys compete with each other in a healthy way and kind of spur each other on to push and be the best that you can be?
Yeah, definitely. But there's certain boundaries that we draw. So like we don't like go out of our way. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way in a game to score more points than Jack by shooting 20 shots. But yeah, we have that. And it's usually certain guys like Jack and I we used to fight over, not like actually fight, but like argue over who's gonna have more rebounds in the game. So like in the middle of a game, if I got a rebound, there was a foul or something like that, I would say something to him, vice versa. So guys out there compete, but all just in like positive ways, not anything that's like toxic or in a way to lose.
And if you had to make a statement or a sentence to someone who didn't know a lot about LaSalle basketball, was very new to the program, what kind of thing would you say that you think sums up the team that you have for this season?
Oh wow. Just being very very well balanced, and it can be anybody's night, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
It can be short and simple. It doesn't have to be anything too complicated. Yeah, that kind of sums it up for everybody. And now you guys are sort of the basketball experts here. So I have to ask your opinion on the Ben Simmons saga that's happening right now. What is kind of your 2 cents on it, if you have any?
I don't see how he's going to ever be able to play in Philadelphia again. He kind of picked the wrong city to try this in. I personally think they should move him. But I also think he's crazy for leaving $10 million on the table. I don't care how mad I'll ever be. It will never get to that point. So that's kind of where I stand.
Jack, you don't look too happy.
I mean, Ben Simmons is my favorite player. So, I mean, it's kind of disappointing to see him wanting to leave Philly, even after I feel like everything that happened to him was his fault, with not being able to shoot the ball and not doing everything he really could do. But yeah, like C-Ray said, just leaving that amount of money on the table is it's ridiculous it's just ridiculous to leave that amount of money out there. But yeah, like he was saying, trying to come back to Philly, it's not going to be like you think it is. It's going to be a bunch of booing, a bunch of popcorn being thrown at him, all of that. So yeah, not fun.
Yeah. So Ben, there you have it.
I'm sorry to say, but it doesn't look like he's being very welcome back here. But that just about does it for this interview. So thank you guys for participating, and all the best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, here.
We have one last quick break, but when we come back, we'll preview this week ahead for our fall sports. Don't you dare go anywhere.
Using meth taught me everything about freedom, only not like you think. It taught me how easy it is to lose your freedom, how meth can take control until you find yourself doing whatever meth tells you to do. Before you get there, while you still can, take a stand for yourself. If you feel yourself losing your freedom to meth, ask for help. Accept the help. It's worth it. You have the power to be truly free and be the person you want to be. I know. I'm Jan, and I'm free from meth.
If you or someone you know is struggling with meth, call 1-800-662-HELP for 24-hour free and confidential treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/meth.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
Third line, please.
DEPRESSION.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale.
Bipolar?
Sorting out a mental health concern is not something to attempt on your own.
Anxiety. I thought so.
Like many health conditions, help for mental illness takes professional diagnosis and treatment. And the sooner you seek treatment, the better.
Look at that. 6,000 steps and PTSD.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. Find out what to do. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Welcome back. As the end of the fall season is slowly approaching, the importance of these games continues to rise. Let's check out what the fans should be getting ready for heading into fall break.
To start off the week, tonight's women's soccer plays the Dukes on the road. Then on Friday, field hockey will travel to North Carolina to take on Davidson Wildcats. At just 2-10, the Explorers look to capitalize on what could be their third conference win of the year, before facing off against Appalachian State on Sunday afternoon.
Saturday morning welcomes in the start of the 2021-22 season for men's and women's rowing as they will head down to the Navy Day Regatta at the Schuylkill River. Cross country continues their season as well as they both head over to Princeton, New Jersey for the Princeton Invitational. Women's golf will head to New Jersey for the Monmouth Fall Hawk Invitational, and men's swimming and diving will join them as they head off to NJIT to face off against the Highlanders. Men's soccer has a pair of important conference games this week, first facing off against St. Bonaventure under the lights Saturday night.
Women's soccer has just one contest this week until we're back on your TV screens again, hosting VCU for a Sunday matinee at McCarthy Stadium before facing off against Appalachian State on Sunday afternoon. Then the men's team will host Philadelphia rival St. Joe's right here at McCarthy Stadium on Wednesday at 7 to round out the week.
So a lot of exciting games coming up. We got a lot of conference play happening. So what game are you most looking forward to, Tyler?
I think this field hockey stretch is very vital for them. They're coming off a longer week, as we talked about with the COVID cancellation. They're going to take on a weak Davidson team, 2-10 on the season, then go into Appalachian State for their last non-conference game of the season. They have a chance to be above 500 going into the last week of the season. I think that's just incredible, considering I've mentioned this week in and week out how they started as a 0-win team last year in the weird COVID season. They have a chance to come out. Tatum Johnson, Sophia Pla have been leading them this entire season. I don't see them slowing down against a very gettable offensively team in the Wildcats on the road. I think that's the game I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah, field hockey is definitely going to be exciting to look at. You know, win or lose the next couple of games for them, the turnaround for this season has just been incredible. So it's really great to see just how far they've come and, you know, how much farther they can go. No surprise, I'm looking forward to our soccer games. You know, men's soccer against St. Joe's is definitely the one that we want to look forward to most. But women's soccer, I think they're on fire now. They've got a lot of momentum, so it'll be really good to see them, you know, capitalize on that fire that they've stoked and hopefully, you know, get more wins under their belt.
Yeah, and just when you look at that overall, what's you think going to be the main catalyst?
That's really hard because their defense has really been stepping it up. I think it's one of those things where all of the, you know, players have a role in this team. They can score goals, they can get points. So I think it's going to be a real team effort. But if I have to, you know, pick someone, I think that Cameron Cox is going to make a big impact again. I definitely see her turning it on. I'd really love to see Kelly McGroarty, you know, get her name back on the score sheet because she's such an exciting player to watch. And it's kind of unlucky that she hasn't really got the stats this season. So I'm hoping that she can hopefully, you know, get a goal or an assist in these upcoming games.
Yeah, it feels like forever ago that we were talking to McGroarty and then Donovan after their remarkable start to the season. They are some of the pieces that we haven't seen necessarily flourish so far, but it's been a full team effort, obviously, and it all depends on the roles that they're being put into it. I mean, we can talk about the youth on the men's side as well. Once you just kind of talk about needing a catalyst offensively to kind of upstart this offense and to try and bring some attention to them throughout the end of the season. And I see there's nothing stopping them from getting hot at the right time of the season. I believe that both programs have been able to save it up for when it matters most.
And I think, you know, talking about a catalyst for the men's side, I've been saying his name pretty much anytime we talk about men's soccer. Scott Beeks has been running this midfield ever since he came back from injury. And he's kind of, I don't want to say the sole contributor for the midfield, but whenever he gets the ball, you know that there's going to be a shot on goal or an assist incoming. And it's such a great motivator for the rest of the midfield and attack. So I'm hoping that he can continue that good streak and be sort of a bright spot in this season. So we'll see what happens with that. And that just about wraps it up for us this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorer Report, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com. You can also check out the digital edition of The Collegian, which now features SportsLine content.
Also, check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Salle TV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions there. This week's poll is, should Sixers fans boo Ben Simmons loud or really loud when he comes back to the stadium?
I'm going to have to say really loud because he's only coming back for the $10 million. I stand by that, what I said on Sports Talk. But for our entire SportsLine team, I'm Siobhan Nolan.
And I'm Tyler Small. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the game.